So, we're going to talk about gongs. Today's cup of talks. Okay, another beautiful, almost summer day here. It's still May. Very hot. I'm drinking iced tea. Rocking the garden this weekend. Getting a lot planted. I'd like to talk about a subject that I actually would say I'm an expert at. And it's something that's been very intriguing to me to watch sort of come together, make its presence known, and become something. Because for a long time, especially in the gong and sound worker community, there was this, to me, very misguided idea of, oh, I'm a sound worker. I'm not a performer. I don't make music. No, I don't play compositions. I don't make music. And I really think people miss out by disavowing the fact that one, if you play gongs, singing bowls, crystal pyramids, shakers, rattles, buffalo drums, any of those instruments, you are a musician. If you play a musical instrument, and these are all musical instruments, you, my friend, are a musician. And I've been saying that for years and years and years. And I say that in probably all of my workshops. I talk about the fact that you are a musician, and like it or not, and it cannot be denied, you are making music. When you strike that gong, strike that bowl, that bell, shake that rattle, you are making music. For so long, so many people have been in denial about that. I'm not a musician. I don't make music. I'm not a performer. And it's like, you're a musician. You're making music. End of story. Okay. I don't want any arguments on that. So out there, you might be thinking that too. Yeah, I'm not a musician. Well, almost like musician is a dirty word. I mean, what is wrong with that? If you work on cars, you're an auto mechanic, even if it's just in your garage working on your own car. You don't have to work at Joe's auto shop or something to be a auto mechanic. Yeah, if you have fun doing it, it's your hobby and you like working on cars, well, you're an auto mechanic. If you make your own food, not throw stuff in the microwave. If you buy food at the store or the outdoor market or something, and you bring it home and you cut it up and chop it up and you put it all together in a pan or pot and apply heat to it and seasonings and you cook it, you are a cook. Nobody's going to argue that, right? I mean, if you actually make your own food and cook it, you are what is termed a cook. No, you don't have to work at a restaurant to be a cook or a chef or however you want to define it. If you cook food, you are a cook. So, thusly, if you make music, these aren't hard, you are a musician. But that seems to be such a dirty word and a dirty concept in the sound worker community. No, no, I'm not a musician. I don't make music. I don't compose music. It's like I'm not like in a rock band. And it's like, well, no, but you're making music. So now let's move beyond that to today. It's May 2026. And I find it really encouraging, but also kind of funny. And my good friends Michener and Mike Tamburo have just concluded a couple weeks ago a week-long gong camp in France, all about composition, all about taking your gongs, your bowls, your bells, whatever instruments you have, and actually composing, writing, organizing, orchestrating, however you want to define it, music. And all that means is you're taking sounds and you are ordering them through time. So they did a week-long class on that. And then they just concluded, Mike did another week with some of the same participants where they spent a whole week in a recording studio in France. And the idea there was compose music, play the compositions, record them. So I find that very encouraging that people are into that because we are capable of making such wonderful, amazing, beautiful, great music with all these instruments. And there's nothing wrong with that because they are musical instruments and we are musicians. So it's encouraging to see that this has been going on. The funny part is that's exactly what I've been doing for the past 25 years. In like 2000, I decided I didn't want to play drums in bands anymore. I'd been doing that for like since I was 15. It's like been there, done that, said what I had to say. So I embarked on writing my own music for solo percussion, which featured a lot of gongs and bells and bowls and shakers and rattles and noisemakers and things like that. So I've been doing this, yeah, like I said, I'm an expert on this. I've been doing this sort of thing with these metal instruments in a professional capacity, writing music, recording music, and touring the music. I've been doing that for 25 years. So I think I know what I'm talking about. And as I said, when I teach, especially in my workshops, I'm always trying to impart you need to learn musical values. You need to learn rhythm. You need to learn structure. You need to learn how to put things together, how to blend sounds, how to layer sounds, how to create music. Simple as that. So I've been teaching these ideas for 25 years also. And before that, I've played music. When was I 15? Gosh, it's a long time ago. It was like 40 years or so. Since I was 15, playing music in bands, teaching drums and percussion, recording drums and percussion, writing about drums and percussion for magazines, uh, putting on clinics, doing all sorts of stuff like that. So I know what I'm talking about here. Okay. I don't want anybody to give me any grief about it. I know what I'm talking about. So back to the gongs and metal percussion as music. Yeah, it's music. And not everything has to be sound bath, gong bath, however you want to define that sort of thing. And also within that context, you can bring in musical elements. When I play, I organize my sounds. I have rhythm, I have melody, I have harmony. I have all these ideas put together. And I think in 3D. I think a lot of musicians think very flat on their sounds. They think of it in 2D. I think of it in 3D. So there's depth to the sounds that I'm making. There's foreground sounds, there's middle sounds, there's background sounds. So I put in all these elements into my sound bath, whatever you want to call them, because that's what I do and that's what I know. And I don't know any other way to work. I can't play flat. I cannot play flat 2D music. and I can't play random noise music, and I can't play just chaotic stuff that has no sense of structure or narrative. So it's really good to see here we are 25 years later, and people are teaching the concepts I've been living for 25 years. And I find that very encouraging that people are going to these workshops and paying their hard-earned money and staying a whole week and learning how to do this stuff. It's also kind of funny because I've been doing it for the past 25 years. I mean, this is my thing. This is what I do. But this is great. Here's to everybody who's actually learning to be a musician and learning to compose and organize their sounds. That's really all music is. It's organized sounds through time. We talk about the dreaded linear clock time. That's what we're working with, but we're organizing our sounds. Now we can organize those in advance. We can write things down. We can memorize things and play them that way. Or we can organize them as we go based on past experience, based on our knowledge base that hopefully we have built up over practicing our craft for a long time, for years and years. But you can organize your sounds as you go in an improvisational way and still have it make sense and not sound like they're going to send in the chaos police to arrest you because you're just making noise. Because that's very encouraging to see more people getting into this idea of, hey, did you know we can make music with all these really wonderful sounding instruments we have? I just find that it's so encouraging. It's great because, like I said, I've been doing that. I used to haul around this huge setup. I had all my gongs and things in the back, and I had some side setups with like my Kulintang Philippine gongs and other small gongs on the floor. And I had this big drum setup that I would use that was just all tom toms and cymbal trees that I would play melodic music on, very melodic, yet rhythmic, music on. So there were definite melodies that you could hum along to. And I would go out and I would make music with all this. And then eventually, as we slid forward another 4 or 5 years, the drums sort of faded away out of that, and it just became all gongs and metal objects because those are the sounds I was even more interested in composing for, actually writing down pieces of music, memorizing these pieces so I could play them. So I didn't want to have sheet music up there and going out and doing that. And I did various concert tours where I would tour around and go to small halls and places and play this music on gongs and bowls and bells and other related instruments. And in 2005, I was invited to give a clinic at the prestigious Percussive Art Society International Convention, known as PASIC, which was held in Columbus, Ohio that year. And I was in a big hall and I gave this talk and clinic on contemporary gongs and how things have evolved. And I played a lot of my own music, discussed my own techniques and ideas, and that was great. It was kind of a watershed moment for me and for many other people because I had such a great response from other percussionists about that. So that was really great. I actually have a VHS video of that clinic that I plan to get digitized and pop it up probably here on YouTube because it was a really great clinic, and I think it's got some good historical value. But again, I've been doing this stuff for 25 years, which is a long time. A lot of people who are getting into this sort of work are maybe barely 25 years old. So, I mean, yeah, I'm an old school gongster here. I'm an original gongster. So I've been doing this quite a while. Don't be afraid of calling yourself a musician and saying that I make music, play music, because it's true. It's what you do. You could put it in different contexts. I can play a pure concert where I will probably play a little more edgy, bring out some different sounds, more percussive sounds, or I can do almost the same thing in a sound session where I will probably use a little softer sounds, maybe a little not a staccato, stuff that's a little more legato. But I'm basically doing the same thing, which always gives me a chuckle because it's like I don't really change it that much. I just play me. It's my music, and I can fit it in different contexts. So keep working on yourself. Keep working on your craft. Keep working on your music. Don't forget that word. Work on it. Your music. Work on organizing your sounds through time. Maybe write things down. Okay. And when you're playing a sound session, I know much of it is in the moment. For me, it is. I have parts that are worked out. And even if I have a plan, I might just veer right off that plan because the energy in the room, the energy from the people, it's asking for something different. But you can work at home and try to organize your sounds into a flow and practice that way so that when you get in front of people and you're giving your session, you can make everything flow. You can give it a narrative. I talk about a lot of this stuff on my Patreon page, in my foundation series. I talk about working with narratives, storylines, things like that, how to organize your sounds, how to think about sound and put it together, how to think in 3 dimensions, and things like that. So if you're interested in going deeper into all this, check the Patreon link below. Or if you really want to go deep, I do teach. I teach in person. If you're passing in the Milwaukee area, you can pop in for an afternoon or something and we'll dive deep into this stuff. Or I teach a lot of people over Zoom. Like if you're in Australia, Japan, New Zealand, South America, if you're in Ghana, Africa, if you're in Beijing, China, if you're in Europe, wherever, and you're interested in working with me, I do it over Zoom. So hit me up. Anyway, thanks for listening to today's Cup of Talks. Gongs making music, composing for gongs. Who knew, right? That's great. But I've been doing this for 25 years, this exact thing, and I continue to do it. And you can go through my discography on Bandcamp, link down below, and listen to my albums, and you will hear compositions. Listen to my album Labyrinth, which is all gong music. It was all written out and recorded in the studio. You can listen to my album Stars Show the Way, my first solo album, which has gong music, percussion music, and drum music. Most of it was written out with small gestures, which were improvised interludes that I put in between each track. And then I have albums of percussion compositions, like for percussion quartet, for solos, and things like that. Um, I'll put some links below for some of those albums. But if you want to hear what gong music can sound like, at least the type that I make, check out those albums on Bandcamp. Okay, thanks. We'll see you in the next Cup of Talk.